Today, we're going to talk about something you do every single day: eat. But this isn't just about what's on your plate. It's an incredible story, really, a cosmic journey of how energy travels from a star millions of miles away and literally becomes, well, you. So, have you ever really thought about it? That breakfast you had this morning, where did the energy in it actually come from? I mean, what's its true origin story? It's a question that connects you and me to the entire planet. So let's do it. Let's follow the trail of that energy. Okay, so where does our story begin? Well, like pretty much every story of life on Earth, it all starts with our sun. You can think of it as this massive, fiery engine that powers, well, everything. So here's the fundamental rule of the game, right? Almost all the energy for life here on Earth comes from the sun's light. I mean, think about that. Sunlight travels 93 million miles through the vacuum of space, carrying the energy that's going to fuel every single run you take, every thought that pops into your head, every single beat of your heart. But how? How does a beam of light actually turn into life?
This is where the real magic happens. We're moving on from the star itself to our planet's very own green engines, plants. They are the absolutely crucial link, the bridge between that distant sunlight and the food that ends up on our plates.
Now, there's a scientific name for these green engines, and it's autotrophs. It's pretty simple when you break it down. Auto means self, and troph means nourishment. So they're self-nourishers. They make their own food. They're the planet's primary producers, and everything from the tallest redwood tree to the tiniest bit of algae in the ocean, they're all autotrophs. They are the foundation of pretty much every single food chain.
And how do they pull this off? Well, it's through a process you've definitely heard of, but it's genuinely mind-blowing when you stop to think about it: photosynthesis. You could imagine it like a giant, planetary, solar-powered factory. The green stuff in leaves, chlorophyll, that's like the solar panel. It just soaks up the sunlight. That energy then gets used to split water molecules, and then it combines that with carbon dioxide from the air to build sugar. And that's it. Pure, simple energy. And the best part? The waste product from this whole process is just the oxygen that you and I are breathing right now. Pretty amazing, right? But, how did we even figure all this out? I mean, it's not like it was obvious. The discovery actually came from a scientist back in the 1770s, a guy named Joseph Priestley. And the funny thing is, he wasn't even trying to study plants. He was just trying to figure out, what is air?
So he started with a really simple experiment. He took a lit candle, put a sealed glass jar over it, and poof, it went out pretty quick. So his conclusion was that the flame must have somehow, damaged the air inside the jar.
Then he tried the same thing, but this time with a mouse. And sadly, in that sealed jar, the mouse couldn't breathe. So he figured, okay, whatever the candle flame was using up, breathing animals must use up that same thing too.
Okay, but this is where it gets really brilliant. He tried the experiment one more time, but this time he put a little mint plant inside the jar along with the mouse. And believe it or not, the mouse was fine. It stayed alive. He could even put the candle back in, relight it, and it would keep burning. The plant was clearly doing something to the air.
So Priestley came up with this amazing hypothesis. He said that plants somehow restore to the air whatever breathing animals and burning candles take out. Now, he didn't know it was oxygen yet, nobody did, but he had stumbled upon the fundamental cycle that keeps all of us alive, that perfect, incredible balance between plants and animals.
All right, so plants can make their own food. That's amazing. But obviously, not everything can do that. Most of us, including humans, have to get our energy secondhand. We are the heterotrophs, the other nourishers. We have to eat other things to survive. And there are a few different ways to go about this other nourishing thing. You've got your saprophytes, like mushrooms and mold. They kind of break down their food on the outside first and then just absorb the nutrients. Then you have parasites, which live on or inside another living thing. And then there's us. We use a strategy called holozoe, which just means we eat food whole and then have this whole complicated system inside our bodies to break it all down.
So let's do that. Let's follow that piece of breakfast toast we talked about. Let's see what happens as it goes on a journey through maybe the most sophisticated disassembly line on the entire planet, your own body. This whole path, from start to finish, is called the alimentary canal. And you can think of it like a long, winding road with a bunch of different stops along the way. Each stop has a super specific and really important job to do, from the first bit of crushing in your mouth all the way down to the final processing in your intestines. You ever wonder how food actually gets from your mouth down to your stomach? I mean, what if you were hanging upside down?
It still works. That's because it's not gravity doing the work. It's this incredible process called peristalsis. It's basically a powerful wave-like muscular squeeze that literally pushes the food along its entire journey.
But the physical pushing is only half the story. The real work, the chemical breakdown, is done by things called enzymes. And the best way to think of them is like tiny, super-specific molecular scissors. The whole thing actually starts in your mouth with an enzyme called amylase. It starts snipping up carbohydrates right away. Then, in your stomach, pepsin gets to work on proteins. And finally, down in the small intestine, a whole team of enzymes like trypsin and lipase comes in to finish off the proteins and break down the fats.
What's so cool is where all of this happens. It's not random at all. Amylase, for example, gets 2 shots at the carbohydrates, once in your mouth and then again in the small intestine. But proteins, they have to wait to get to the super acidic environment of your stomach because that's the only place the enzyme pepsin can really work. And then the small intestine, that's like the grand finale, the final processing center where everything, proteins, fats, the remaining carbs, gets broken down into tiny pieces your body can actually absorb.
So once all that food is broken down into its smallest parts, how does it actually get into your body? Well, this is where the design of the small intestine is just pure genius. It's lined with millions and millions of these tiny finger-like things called villi. And get this, if you could somehow take them all and flatten them out, the surface area would be about the size of a tennis court. All that space has just one job, to absorb all those good nutrients and get them into your bloodstream as efficiently as possible.
Okay, so that's how the system is supposed to work. But what happens when that complex system doesn't get the right kind of fuel? What if there's a breakdown in the supply chain? Well, that's when we get into the really serious reality of malnutrition.
And you know, malnutrition isn't just one single thing. Let's look at 2 really severe examples. First, there's kwashiorkor. This is caused specifically by a severe protein deficiency. And a key symptom is swelling because fluid starts to build up in the body's tissues. Then there's marasmus. This is caused by a severe lack of both protein and calories. The main symptom here is extreme thinness and weakness. It just goes to show how incredibly crucial getting the right kinds of nutrients really is.
So, what's the takeaway? It really all comes down to balance. Your body is like a high-performance engine, and it's designed to run on a very specific mix of fuel. A balanced diet gives you the right proportions of everything you need: energy from carbs, building blocks from proteins, and all the essential fats, vitamins, minerals, and fiber to keep the whole machine running just the way it should.
And it's not just about the big things like carbs and protein. Even the tiniest micronutrients, vitamins, play these huge critical roles. For example, not getting enough vitamin A can actually lead to night blindness. A shortage of vitamin C causes scurvy, the disease that was a huge problem for sailors for centuries. And without enough vitamin D, our bones can't grow strong and properly. It's proof that every single little component matters.
So there you have it. From the light of a star millions of miles away, all the way down to the individual cells inside your body, the story of nutrition is really your story. It's a daily process that connects you to the entire planet. Which leaves us with one final thought. Your body is an incredible engine. So what fuel are you going to choose for it today?